The ephod, as described in the Old Testament, is sort of a multifaceted garment. Think of it as the Swiss Army knife in the wardrobe of ancient Hebrew priests, especially the high priest. It's first mentioned in the book of Exodus, where it's described as a sacred garment that the high priest wore over his tunic. This wasn't your average robe you could pick up at a Jerusalem market. It was intricately designed, crafted with gold, blue, purple, and scarlet yarns, and fine linen. Exodus 28:6. So you can imagine it probably was pretty heavy and something that screamed, "I'm on official priestly duty." Now the ephod had shoulder pieces with 2 onyx stones on it, and engraved on these stones were the names of the 12 tribes of Israel. Think of it as bearing the identity of the nation on his shoulders, quite literally, which emphasized the priest's role as an intercessor between the people and God. Attached to it was the breastplate, a special chest piece that had 12 stones, each engraved with the name of one of Israel's tribes, Exodus 28:17-21. The breastplate also housed the Urim and Thummim, mysterious objects that were used for divination or making decisions, Exodus 28:30. When the high priest donned the ephod with the breastplate, it was like he was carrying the entirety of Israel's identity and bearing the national concerns before God. Now, if we were to translate this into a Portland, Oregon context, imagine for a second that someone walked into a Trailblazers game with a garment with references to every Portland neighborhood and cultural symbol. That person would pretty much embody the spirit of the city on his back. However, in the biblical context, the ephod represented the people's spiritual standing before the divine. The purpose of the ephod goes beyond just a religious dress code. It signified a range of things: identity, representation, divine communication, and the weight of spiritual responsibility. Given the rather ornate and elaborate description in Exodus, it's not a stretch to think that the ephod also played a role in reflecting the beauty and holiness associated with priestly duties and the worship of God. All in all, the ephod's purpose was wrapped up in the role of the priesthood, acting as a bridge, if you will, between the divine and the mortal, conveying the notion that approaching the sacred isn't something to be taken lightly. Check out the detailed description in Exodus 28, https://www.biblegateway.com/passage/?. Search =Exodus +28 version =NIV. If you're curious about the nitty-gritty of the ephod. It's one of those biblical artifacts that makes you realize just how rich and textured ancient traditions were.